The EU and Israel resume dialogue on the future of Gaza.
Russia unveils new negotiation format with the US.
Nghệ An elects 2 additional vice chairmen of the Provincial People's Committee.
You are watching today's news on NTV. My name is Nguyễn Thị and I will be your guide through today's latest update. The European Union, EU, and Israel recently resumed dialogue on the future of the Gaza Strip in the Belgian capital, Brussels. This comes as the EU is considering its role in the reconstruction process of Gaza, following the fragile ceasefire agreement reached last month between Israel and the Hamas Islamic movement.
The EU High Representative for Security and Foreign Policy, Kaja Kallas, and Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar described the meeting as frank and expressed satisfaction that both sides could continue the dialogue. However, Kallas also voiced concerns about the humanitarian situation in Gaza and the West Bank, while supporting the return of Palestinians who had been displaced. Meanwhile, speaking at a joint press conference with the EU officials after the discussions, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar stated that the relationship between the two sides should not be constrained by differing views on the Palestinian conflict. Analysts suggest that this dialogue indicates that Israel and the EU have distinct objectives in their current relationship. Israel seeks to strengthen ties with Europe without being bound by the Palestinian issue, while the EU maintains its stance on human rights and international law.
Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov stated that a new round of negotiation between Russia and the US is expected to take place next week, with the participation of ministerial-level officials from the foreign ministry of both countries.
According to the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister, Russia is ready to engage with the US specifically to address issues affecting bilateral relations. Moscow expects real progress during the upcoming meeting scheduled for the end of next week. The relationship between Washington and Moscow, which had been almost non-existent for many years, was strengthened after US President Donald Trump took office on January 20th. On February 12th, a phone call took place between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. This high-level US-Russia phone call was followed by a meeting between the delegations of the two countries in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, last week to address various issues, including the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
The 18th Provincial People's Council of Nghệ An for the 2021 to 2026 term held its 27th section, a special section this morning, to review and pass resolution on the establishment of 7 new departments based on the merger and transfer of functions and tasks, as well as to elect 2 additional vice chairmen of the Provincial People Committee.
At the session, the Provincial People's Council delegates conducted a secret ballot to elect 2 additional vice chairmen of the Nghệ An Provincial People's Committee. With 100% of the delegates present in favor, Mr. Hoang Phu Hien, a member of the Provincial Party Committee and Director of the Department of Transport, and Mr. Phung Ton Vinh, a member of the Provincial Party Committee and Director of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, were elected to serve as vice chairman for the 2021 to 2026 term. Subsequently, based on the proposals from the Provincial People's Committee, the review reports from the Provincial People's Council's committees, and in accordance with current legal regulations and the local situation, the Provincial People's Council also objectively and comprehensively evaluated and unanimously passed a resolution on the establishment of specialized agencies under the Provincial People's Committee. This was based on the merger and reorganization of 13 departments and agencies to create 7 new departments, reducing the number by 6. After the restructuring, the Nghệ An Provincial People's Committee now has 14 specialized agencies, in line with the policy of streamlining the organizational structure and aligning with the organizational structure of the central government.
Coming up are some updated news.
At the first meeting of the Steering Committee for the Prevention and Control of Waste held this morning, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh pointed out that the purpose of the meeting was to review the tasks that have been implemented, assess the achieved results, identify challenges, limitations, and their causes, and draw lessons learned to serve as a basis for setting tasks and solutions for the upcoming period. This includes addressing the difficulties and obstacles of long-delayed projects to resolve them promptly and release resources for the economy. At the meeting, members of the steering committee and local authorities reported on the implementation work, the results achieved in the past period, and the tasks and solutions for the future to effectively carry out the work of preventing and controlling waste.
According to Indonesia's Tempo newspaper, Vietnam has been recognized for its remarkable recovery in tourism post-COVID-19, leading the Southeast Asian region. Since the beginning of this year, the tourism industry has seen impressive growth in international visitors. In January 2025, Vietnam welcomed 2.1 million international tourists, a nearly 37% increase compared to the same period last year. This figure has also surpassed the record of nearly 2 million visitors to Vietnam in January 2020. This indicates that Vietnam is emerging as a rising star on the international tourism map.
Last night and early this morning, February 25th, the cold air has affected several areas in the south-central region. In the Gulf of Tonkin, the northeast winds were strong at level 5, occasionally reaching level 6, with gusts up to level 8. Due to the impact of the cold air, the north has experienced severe cold weather. With some mountainous areas facing freezing temperatures, the north-central region also has cold weather, with some areas in the north experiencing severe cold. The lowest temperatures during this cold wave in the north are generally between 11 to 13 degrees Celsius. In the mountainous areas from 9 to 11 degrees Celsius. And in high mountain areas, it can drop below 7 degrees Celsius. In the north-central region, temperatures range from 13 to 16 degrees Celsius.
In the early month of 2025, the textile industry has shown positive sign of recovery as textile, garment, and footwear companies have secured orders from now until the end of the year.
At the Daiton garment factory in Queen Lu district, in addition to traditional markets such as South Korea and Japan, orders for exports to Europe with higher unit prices from now until the end of the year have helped the company confidently balance its finances and ensure stable wages for its workers. Thanks to this, the company has expanded its production lines, employing a total of 3,000 workers. To secure large contracts, the factory must meet several important criteria related to legal requirements, the number and quality of workers, working conditions, and their welfare benefits. With the increase in orders and prices, despite challenges in the market related to product quality and the mandatory conditions of the EU supply chain, companies are required to comply with workplace environment standards and workers' welfare systems to ensure production capacity.
Stabilizing working hours is a key to ensure workers' health and allow them time to take care of their families. Overall, companies are generally improving.
We help businesses find orders from partners and expand their markets. We also assist them in making the most of the benefits related to implementing bilateral and multilateral trade agreements.
As one of the key industries in the province with an average growth rate of over 20% per year, textile exports from Nghệ An are expected to reach approximately $755 million this year, a 30% increase compared to last year.
That is the end of today's news. Thanks for your watching and see you next time.